Morning guys, how are you at this 6:35 in the morning? Oh, don't ask me what I'm doing up at this time. It's nice and cosy, we've got the fire on, got my second coffee. I've already done another video this morning, the mountain biking one, if you saw it. So, today we're going to watch a short clip, 5 minutes, on my favourite YouTuber, Bald and Bankrupt. He's got something like 3.5 million subscribers. One of his videos got 10 million. The rest of them have all got millions of views. Travels around the world. I think he lived in Russia for 4 years. He speaks Russian. He's always continuously learning and improving. He lived in India for 4 years, I think, and he's been learning Hindi. He's been learning Spanish. Because of him and my travels around the world, I've took it upon myself to learn Hindi. So this one is Bald Benjamin, that's his name, speaking Hindi in the streets of probably Mumbai or Delhi or somewhere. I would have seen the video, but I'm going to speak a bit of Hindi too. So, first of all, my last trip, I travelled across Vietnam on a motorbike. Took me 3 weeks, me and my friend. We never had no accommodation booked, we just zigzagged down Vietnam, 1,500 miles. And I went to Africa alone. I went to Morocco alone, that was just a single trip. Then I went down to Rwanda alone to see the mountain gorillas, but I ended up seeing the mountain gorillas in Uganda instead. I've travelled around Europe on trains alone, but halfway around going to a Polish wedding, well, at the beginning. Started in Germany, went over to Poland, down to Krakow in Poland, overnight train to Slovakia, another train to Austria, then over to Denmark, then back. Went to Iceland on my own, met loads of people on all these trips, staying in hostels. One of my friends wanted to do some trips with me, so me and him booked one to Estonia, then we got a ferry over to Finland, Helsinki, halfway through the trip, and then back. We're shooting guns drunk in a shooting range in Estonia. That was good fun. And then we went to Budapest, me and my friend, another time, and I go over to Poland, stay in my friend's house. Oh, just amazing. So my next trip, I want to travel across India on a motorbike. I've got a little plan set up. So hopefully, I don't want to do this one alone. I want to do it with a friend. Motorbike trips are better with a friend. You're alone enough in your helmet on the bike, but it's nice to share it when you go out on the motorbikes. I've got motorbikes at home, and it's alright, you know, I go out on my own sometimes, off-roading, but it's better when you're with a friend or a group. You have so much more fun. But anyway, let's get into this. What are we on here? Just bear with me a second. Just bear with me 1 second. Right, what's that, right. Right, here we go. Let's watch Mr. Bald.
आपका हिंदुस्तानी आर्मी है सर। अच्छा, जीतेगा भाई जीतेगा, हिंदुस्तान भाई जीतेगा। Namaste.
Come on, stop working.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's learn Hindi. Over the course of this 2-part series, I'm going to help you learn how to speak Hindi like a local. Now, I understand that you are probably thinking, why would I want to learn Hindi from a foreigner, a non-native speaker, especially one like me, whose Hindi is far from perfect? ये आपका boat है ना? अच्छा, नाम है आपका boat? कौन सा? Kisuri. ये क्या? ये भगवान का नाम है आपका? Well, let me tell you why. It's because, as a foreigner in India, I know exactly what you do and do not need to know. And this can save you hours of wasted effort.
Acha.
आपको नहीं मालूम कहाँ mechanic, welder, mechanic for motorcycle. आपको मालूम कहाँ है यहाँ पे? Bus stand. ये कितना kilometer यहाँ से?
यही 5 मिनट लगेंगे.
Kitna means how much or how many.
With what I'm going to teach you, you will be able to travel the length and breadth of the nation, having epic adventures and conversing with all kinds of fascinating and friendly people with zero difficulty whatsoever. Now you can trust me on that, because that is exactly what I'm doing.
So I've took a leaf out of his book and I've been learning. It's not easy. I probably know about 30 words, 40 words, but I've listened and I've watched loads of his videos and I've been learning myself using YouTube videos and Google Translate. So some little things that I've learned, like namaste, hello. Aap kaise hain, how are you? Mera naam Brendan hai, my name is Brendan. Aap se milkar khushi hu. Obviously, someone who's native Indian, I'm butchering this, my accent's wrong, but these are the words. You've got to pronounce it a bit different. Aap se milkar khushi hu. Pleasure to meet you. Like he said then, kitna hai is how much or how many, or kitna rupee, kitna, and then it's like what I learned for when we were in like an Indian restaurant with my friends, and I've used this a few times. So if I'm with my friends in a restaurant and I'll say to the waiter, I'll say, Mera dost, which is my friend, Mera dost bivakuf, my friend is stupid. So I say that to the waiter starts laughing, and all my friends are like, what are you saying? What have you just said? There's other things I've learned. I write it all down and I try to learn properly. But Mr. Bald, if you don't know his channel, go and check him out, he's awesome. This is what I want to do in the Himalayas.
So, firstly, let me tell you exactly how I learned to speak Hindi, and also about the mistakes I made so that you don't repeat them. कैसे यहाँ शांति है ना? ये क्या है? जी? Before my first trip to India, I bought a Hindi language textbook and began to energetically study it every day. Over the course of a couple of months, I filled my head with all kinds of complex grammar points and endless vocabulary. But when I flew to India, I soon realized that almost everything I had learned was useless. Local people just didn't speak the language like I had learned in the textbook.
See, one reason I want to go to India, I do want to experience Delhi. I just know it's going to be the most carnage, chaotic place I've ever been in my life. You know, so many people, so much different culture. Oh wow. But I know I'll be out of my comfort zone. I was out of my comfort zone when I went to Rwanda and Uganda, even Morocco. But you've got to push through it and you come back a better, like, it makes you grow as a person. It's good. Anyway, let's get back into it.
You see, people didn't come up to me and formally say, Namaste, aap kaise hai? But instead, the rickshaw wallahs and the food vendors of the nation would say to me, Aur bhai, sab theek hai?
बहुत बढ़िया बहुत सुंदर है ना अच्छा I see I like the way you did that.
I didn't know quite what they meant or exactly how I was supposed to respond, and being a sociable person that loves meeting new people and conversing, it was a bitter disappointment.
बहुत अच्छा अच्छा
Thanks, uncle.
okay no problem son.
So I realized that if I was serious about learning Hindi, I would have to change my method completely. Instead, I would have to throw away the textbooks and head deep into the back streets and alleyways of the nation in order to learn the Hindi that the locals used.
When we rode across Vietnam, we didn't just stick to the tourist routes. We went down the back alleys, like went to these markets like this. We just tried to get involved in the real culture, the real life of Vietnam. That was awesome. But, and it keeps saying Tiger and Acha. I think one's okay, one's good, and one's okay. Like Tiger might be good and Acha is okay, or vice versa. I get it mixed up. I've got it written down. But they're both they're both still positive words. Tiga, acha. So when you hear him saying that, it's okay or good.
Boston smile. Firmelingi, anyway.
Firmelingi, goodbye.
As I continued that trip around India, I started to notice that certain words and phrases were constantly popping up in my conversations with people.
Oh, bank shop?
Yeah,
Very
government.
nice.
Government bond.
Government bank shop. कितना पैसा आपके बैंक?
कितना पैसा है? How much?
12
12 rupees.
रिजल्ट क्या? मैं पागल हूँ?
नहीं,
सब ठीक है?
Tiga.
Phrases that real people used
Okay.
every day, like, Bhai, kya hua? Or, Arey yaar, bhai sahab, ye bahut mehanga hai na?
Bye, his
Or the
brother.
essential phrase of the city backstreets.
बहुत अच्छा है ना? धन्यवाद भाई साहब. धन्यवाद.
And so, in the evening, after a day spent talking to people and hearing these phrases, I would return to my hotel room and write down everything I had learned during the course of the day. And soon enough, I had a small compendium of nothing but the essential phrases of the language that any traveller would need in order to explore the great Hindustan with confidence. In part 2 of this series, I would like to teach you those essential phrases so that you can also experience some of the incredible things that I have been fortunate enough to experience in India. And you too will be able to create memories and friendships which I hope will last forever. So until the next video, Fir milenge.
Firmelingi, goodbye. So, maybe that video is more interesting to me, Roy. Maybe that video is more interesting to me because I'm learning Hindi for my next motorbike trip. But the best thing about learning languages is that it makes your trip more, you get more of an experience when you can talk to locals. It brings you more together by learning their language. When people don't speak each other's language, in fact, I was just about to say you're more distant, but I've been in many situations around the world where I don't speak someone's language, but we all speak a language together, the same thing, body language and positive and negative, and we all speak these things. So I've had a conversation with a Russian guy, this taxi driver in Czech Republic, and I was talking to him about his grandchildren, and he couldn't speak English, I couldn't speak Russian, and we knew what we were on about. We muscled through it. Many times I've got all through loads of countries without knowing the languages, because people know body language. They know. So words are good, but also gestures, body language, face expressions, tones in your voice. So I suppose when you learn their language, you still use these, and it just makes it more communication. So anyway, that's Mr. Bald and Bankrupt. I'm nearly bald and nearly bankrupt, Brendan. I hope you enjoyed it. Learn a little new language, make the world a closer, together place. I'll see you later.